Hello. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Carlene.
And I'm Jay. We are also known as Jaylene.
On this channel, we recap and provide our reviews for Married at First Sight.
Today we are reviewing episode 7, Real Life Reckoning.
If you enjoyed watching Married at First Sight, please stay tuned. If you haven't already, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. The episode started with the couples returning back to San Diego and moving into their new apartments together. Each couple had unique doormats. Also, Pastor Cal met with them. Now let's get into Sasha and Nate. I don't know if you all noticed this, but bathroom habits and espresso makers were the themes of this episode. When they entered into their new apartment, clean was mentioned several times. Sasha started laying down the ground rules, starting with they need to remove their shoes. Nate doesn't like doing laundry and admits to leaving dishes in the sink. Sasha asks Nate to put the toilet seat down. The next morning, Sasha sees the toilet seat up. Then let's go to Sasha's place. There goes Nate again, wanting to do flips in the kitchen. Maybe he just likes big open spaces.
So it's obvious that Nate doesn't... He's never used to new stuff, I want to say. Anything nice, he acts like a little schoolboy. It's like he's happy it's a new toy. We went on a honeymoon. There's what was the bathtub. Now it's her kitchen. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he just gets so excited, like, wow, this new, big place. Let me play in it or something like that. He got really happy.
I don't understand. Well, this is a red flag for me. So as Sasha's building her brand new house from the ground up, just imagine him running around that house like everybody do when they on what Property Brothers or whatever show that's renovating houses.
Nate was surprised that Sasha had her toilet seat down. Was he expecting anything differently?
Obviously, he's never lived with a woman. That's rule 101, living with a woman. Toilet seat always down. You're trained from that as a child. But obviously, he didn't grow up with his mother. But still, his dad could have taught him that, knowing he's about to go live with a woman. Like, rule number 1, toilet seat down.
They went back and forth about her bringing her espresso maker. I thought I was watching a court case, the way that they were trying to argue their cases.
I didn't understand why was it a big deal for him when it's her money. I mean, $700 compared to going to a coffee place every day for a year. That's her saving money, not spending more money. I just understand like he seemed like she's asking him to pay for this espresso maker when that's not the case.
Well, Nate calls his wife a diva. I like how Sasha is trying to speak up more for herself. In the other episode, she seemed more lax. She's probably thinking, I can afford this and I'm going to take it. Nate was concerned with Sasha's decorative pillows, in her bedroom. Her friends were right. Her house does look like it's staged. That bed looked like one from a hotel or a magazine. She really wanted to bring her tray, and Nate said that she could with minor changes.
I didn't mind the tray. It doesn't bother me at all. If I'm Nate, I'm just like, you can do what you want with that. I don't care. As long as we can move it when it's time to go to sleep. If you want to have it up during the day, just for show purposes, I'm fine with that.
Now they went over to Nate's apartment. Sasha picked through Nate's whole apartment like it was the matchmaking special. Was she trying to channel her inner Dr. Pepper? She mentioned the dusty bookcase, dirty towels in the closet, empty cleaning supplies, and multiple empty oatmeal containers. She even saw Top Ramen and was like, he's living a bachelor's life. Then she did the unthinkable. When she opened the cabinet and saw 2 dirty wine glasses, she was like, he must have been drinking with someone else. The look on Nate's face was priceless. I knew he was in a rush, but he didn't have time to clean up before. Maybe he wasn't thinking that his new wife was going to go through his things like that.
when I first saw the expression on his face, I could not stop laughing. When I see it now, I just want to laugh. But when he had the glasses there, he said it was there for 5 months. So you don't wash your glasses for 5 months in a cabinet. Like, what is wrong with you? Who are you trying to fool here? I knew you knew she was coming over there. I didn't think she was going to inspect it like it was a matchmaking special. Like she was going, like Dr. Pepper, going through all the drawers, looking for drawers and stuff like that. But I just thought it was hilarious. The look on his face is just priceless to me. I just love it.
Pastor Cal came over to visit, and he told them that they looked good together, and, they were sitting close as well. Pastor Cal asked them about their goals for the marriage, and Nate says his famous line, how he wants them to be a power couple. Sasha wants to have financial freedom and says Nate's salary is workable. When Pastor Cal asked about kids, Nate hesitated and says he has to be making some crazy amount of money to feel ready to get started. Sasha wants to start right away. She said how much she makes and was like, we could probably start now. Pastor Cal also asked about sex. Sasha states that they are affectionate, but she wants to be in love with Nate and stops overlooking stupid things before taking that next step.
If I understand correctly, Nate is making 6 figures, so I don't know why he needs to make $250,000 in order to have kids. People make less than that and start having a family. So I didn't understand the point of that, or he's just trying to stall and he doesn't want to be with Sasha at all. And Sasha, he's making what, $450,000 a year? So she's making well enough for the both of them to start a family right now if she wanted to. So I don't understand what Nate's issue is besides the fact that he don't want to be there.
Yeah, he is pausing because she was like, we're ready. I got you. And he's like, well, no, this, crazy amount. I just thought it was too much. Sasha wants Nate to open up more and stop giving surface level answers. Nate's thinking, I'm not volunteering information. You can see that he is hesitant about sharing his past, especially about his mom. He doesn't have a connection with his biological mother. On the other hand, Sasha doesn't have a connection with her biological father, but she gets emotional when she speaks of him.
So it came to the point where Sasha was asking him questions, but it came off as an interrogation to me, like I was watching an episode of Castle or something. And I just feel like Nate, he's not at that point to opening up yet. And usually, just speaking from my own experience, when a guy is into you, he will open up slowly but surely. He's not going to do it all at one time, but he's still more about the physical with her right now. Is waiting to get to that next step. Mentally, I don't think he's there, and I don't think that he should have been picked for this season to be matched with her.
Now moving along to Morgan and Ben. Ben wants Morgan to do laundry before 4 p.m., and she is willing to compromise. Then he talked about unplugging everything, including video games. He didn't take into account that Morgan would be playing video games at that time. Also, he wants lights off before 6 p.m. and turned off all the lights.
I can understand about the 4 to 9 thing. That is a big thing out here in California. They want us to conserve energy and use less power as possible, especially during those peak times, because everybody's getting off work and usually just want to do their laundry and do the dishes and all that kind of stuff. So I understand about that part. So I'm with Ben on that one. And then the unplugging of everything, I don't understand how that works or why that works. I tried that once with our microwave, unplugging every day, and eventually it just stopped working. And we have to go buy another one. So I'm not on board with the unplugging of everything.
Yeah, but what about them just sitting there in the dark? I mean, what were they trying to do at that point? I mean, I know he was trying to prove a point, but really, you're going to turn off all the lights and it's like not even time to go to sleep?
I have no problem with that. I love being in the dark. I have no problem with it. When I was a kid, I stayed in the dark for whatever reason. Everybody used to call me a vampire.
Then they went over to Morgan's apartment and Ben removed his shoes before entering. Then she brought up her espresso maker. I was like, is this going to be another court case? Ben asked how many watts, And is it going to use a lot of electricity because it had triple wires? As always, Morgan wasn't having that and was like, I'm taking it. Ben didn't have a choice. Ben liked the massage Morgan gave him, talking about that's the reason that they were matched. Ben was concerned with Morgan's cat's peeing schedule. I mean, he was invested. He asked if the cat would pee on his items, including his in-home desk. If the cat would pee in his litter box all the time, are they all going to pee at the same time? Then I thought it was cute how the cat came out the room and introduced itself. Ben was like, come on, son. He wants to cuddle with the cat.
I just thought that scene was hilarious with Ben talking about the cat. I'm coming more around to Ben, liking his personality. He's showing to be funnier than I thought he was initially.
Pastor Cal came to visit, and he talked about the honeymoon challenge. Morgan felt backstabbed, like Ben went back on his promise and his word. Morgan says, trust isn't good. She turns to Ben and says, I'm learning how to trust you. Pastor Cal wanted to know the root of this, and it was obvious that her dad had something to do with it. Her dad would make promises that wasn't kept. Morgan told her dad what kind of relationship she wanted from him, but he couldn't live up to it, and as a result, they don't have a relationship. Ben is trying to win Morgan back. She says the wall is up, and she is trying to bring it down.
I like how Ben is taking responsibility for his mistake, and he's trying to win her trust back over. It's just like most guys or people on this show in general, they would not take responsibility. They'll say, it's not my fault. It was this, that, and the other. But I like how he's just taking responsibility and just stepping up. Hopefully that will pay off for them down the line and they'll stay together.
Yes, that is good that he is taking, accountability about what he did, especially being strangers. And I know he probably felt overwhelmed, like she wasn't telling the truth up front, and he felt like, he needed to speak to someone. But he understands that most things that's happening in a marriage should stay within the marriage. They talked about being affectionate again, but Ben greeted her like one of the guys. Pastor Cal says to be more gentle, and Ben says he would watch a YouTube video on affection. Well, there is a YouTube video for almost every and anything these days. Morgan is asked to do something she's never done, to continue to be with someone after trust is broken. Also, she is doing this with a stranger. In order for this to work, she has to believe that Ben is remorseful and Ben's actions must align.
I wasn't sure if he was being sarcastic when he said that or just trying to be funny. Because I'm thinking, just go with your natural male instinct and you should be fine when it comes to showing affection.
Moving on to Kristen and Mitch. They were happy to see that their new apartment had a dishwasher. Then Mitch dropped a condom on the floor. I guess he's letting her know that he is ready to take her up on that offer.
Okay, I'm like, are you trying to be passive aggressive here, saying you want to get some when you messed it up in the first place? Because you could have got some way earlier before you told her she was ugly. So I'm like, did you drop it? Did it really fall out your bag just for her to see it? That made no sense to me. I'm like, if you just want to get some, just say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to get some.
Kristen is feeling optimistic, and she likes the journey, even the low parts. Mitch says he is feeling better. I'm happy and comfortable. He likes the cuteness of the wifey and hubby t-shirts. They made their way over to Mitch's apartment. Kristen is anxious because Mitch's place is very messy and dirty. Again, she tries to be optimistic. We see a nasty stove, a filthy refrigerator, and an awful bathroom. This is cleaning 101. Kitchens and bathrooms should always be clean. Did Mitch not know that his place would be filmed, or he just didn't care?
I don't think he cared, because apparently this is why he's been single for 2 years. I don't understand. You know this is going to be on TV for one. Not just your wife is going to see this. So you're going to be judged by America. Who else is watching this show?
Yeah, Kristen, she really looked frightened. Like she was looking at him on his different, items and things like that. But she really looked like, what is going on here?
That just took me, I think I was triggered by that myself. I'm like, aren't you concerned about roaches? Like, where do you take a shower at? That bathtub was so dirty. I'm like, do you go outside? What's going on here?
Then they had dinner, and Kristen, she falls in love easily and says she's going to fall in love with Mitch. She gave him a heartfelt card with coupons. Some coupons were too hot for TV, but Mitch cashed in on that bubble bath together.
I really want to know what was on that coupon that they didn't say on TV. I'm very nosy like that. So I would like, I know it's something sexual, but just tell us what it is. Give me a taste of it. I'm just curious.
Pastor Cal came over, and Kristen and Mitch were sitting together, and they were very close. Kristen loves the marriage and shared how they went all the way. However, they haven't talked about life together after the 8 weeks, including having kids. Mitch doesn't want to feel pressured. Kristen thinks Mitch is going to leave if he feels too pressured. They whispered their incomes to each other, and Mitch says he is okay with his wife making twice his income. Kristen wants to have kids in the next year. Mitch is concerned with the L word. He says, we've only known each other for 2 weeks. Pastor Cal tells them they will love each other before they realize it. Then we saw evidence of Mitch going back into his head.
Before Mitch started to revert back into his old self from the honeymoon, I do like how they're vibing, how they're getting along, going forward right before they did it. But if we saw the after party, it didn't last that long. So apparently it was very quick. I don't know what quick is, but apparently Ben had a comment saying, like 2 pumps. And Kristen said, you said it, not me. But it seems to be that she's willing to work with Mitch on their sex life so he can get better. So good for her.
Now we have Alexis and Justin. They talked about their dogs being besties. Alexis is very protective of her dog and refers to him as a child. She asks Justin, are there any concerns with his dog? And he reassures her that everything will be fine. They went to their new apartment. We see Maya, Justin's dog, eyeing Newton, Alexis's dog. Justin is like, that's your sister. We literally see Maya showing her teeth.
As soon as Justin's dog walked into the apartment, you can tell his dog wanted to attack somebody.
Alexis and Justin talked about how their dogs are both alphas.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe from Alexis's dog. He seemed like he's just cool, calm, and collective.
When Alexis wasn't looking, Newton got close to Maya and she attacked him. It was so sad to see. It was like watching a movie and you knew something bad was going to happen.
Yeah, I saw it a little bit differently. As soon as Alexis walked out the room, that was Justin's dog opportunity to be a murderer.
Alexis grabbed Newton immediately and noticed he was bleeding. I mean, he was crying.
I wanted to take a newspaper, roll it up, and then hit Justin on the nose and say, bad Justin. Because you knew how bad your dog was before you got that dog to that apartment. You knew your dog had issues, and then you didn't say anything to your wife, knowing that's going to cause a problem.
Justin put Maya in the other room and tried to scold her. Justin looked like, oh no, I didn't think it was going to happen so soon. Alexis was looking for a vet and basically wanted to be alone. Justin tried to comfort her, but she wasn't receiving it.
Yeah, she wasn't having, I can see any look in his eyes, and my marriage is over.
The next day, Justin took Maya to a training camp. He knows if she doesn't improve, he will have to give her away. Justin didn't want to talk about it. Then we saw them meeting with Pastor Cal. Alexis feels that Justin lied to her about his dog, Maya. And this makes her want to leave. Alexis tells Justin to overshare, just tell her everything, even if it's going to hurt her feelings. Justin admits to giving vague answers.
But when he was being oversharing, saying how much he loves her, she didn't want to hear that. So if he's saying something bad that your dog might get hurt, you want to hear that, but you don't want to hear I love you. So I have a problem with that aspect in itself right there. But Justin really should have said something, just at least give her like a heads up. Or I felt if he knew this was a problem as big as it probably could have gotten, he should have either someone watch his dog until the experiment is over and then take it from there. Or in that process, have your dog being trained during that time as well.
Now we have Lindy and Miguel. Miguel says he's allergic to cats, and this devastates Lindy. Come to find out, he was just playing with her.
I got a problem with Miguel. He, ever since, I say the honeymoon, where he was acting like a caveman before he got some. And then he got some, and I felt his attitude kind of changed a little bit. And now I feel like he's trying to either emotionally hurt her or just be manipulative about her feelings. So right now, I'm not really digging Miguel. I feel he gave off a false sense of who he was in the beginning so he can get picked. And I actually like Lindy. I think she's a good person for this process, and she actually wants to be a wife. And I think he's just here to see whatever happens and see if it sticks.
He brings up his favorite topic, Decision Day, knowing this is a trigger word for Lindy. Lindy was disappointed again. She started piercing her lips like Miranda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada when she didn't like that dress. Miguel's like, I want to be realistic to know if we want to continue. Lindy doesn't want to talk about it, and Miguel says he's not looking for an out. Miguel is happy to be sharing this living space with Lindy and wants to see if it'll truly work. Then they went over to Miguel's place. He says that his Dungeon and Dragon books are his Bible. He loves to tell his wife that he's going to the bathroom. Then he comes back dressed as Bear Man. He says he's liking the connection. Now they're back at their new apartment, and Miguel comes home with roses for Lindy. And Lindy's like, I haven't seen you all day. Miguel cooks dinner, and Lindy likes it. He names his pretend restaurant Miguel's. Miguel admits to looking for a reason to leave in the past. Lindy told him he's still looking for a reason. Now they call Decision Day Vow Renewal Day. Lindy feels Miguel is transparent and she doesn't have to guess.
Yeah, she wanted to keep guessing. I'm glad they changed the name for her sake, so she's not triggered and it doesn't bring anything on her mind for anything negative. So that's the only kind of credit I'm going to give Miguel. So I'm still waiting for the shoe to drop on him.
Pastor Cal came over, and Lindy says she wants to see how they handle conflict. Pastor Cal advised her not to welcome conflict. Miguel doesn't want to censor himself. His friends refer to him as a doormat. Pastor Cal told him to re-examine his feelings before saying them. I thought this was great advice. A lot of people just say what comes to their mind without a filter. This isn't always good because it's like brain dumping. You really haven't thought through what you're going to say.
I agree with Lindy because when you guys have conflict as a couple and how you resolve it, that says a lot of, can you guys work through it and stay together? Or it's like, as soon as you have a fight, I'm just going to tuck it and run like some people on this show tend to do.
Yeah, I can understand that, but I think Pastor Cal was saying, that fights are going to come. Like, we already know it's inevitable, but don't sit there waiting like, I wonder if we're going to fight today, or I wonder if we're going to fight tomorrow. Like, when it shows up, you guys are working together. Hopefully they can work together and work through it. Lindy doesn't want to know if Miguel is pulling away from her. She feels if they have an argument, then he's not going to love her anymore, given the fact if he actually loved her to begin with. I think Miguel just wants to piss Lindy off. With his unfiltered talking and her overthinking, I really don't know about this one.
he got what he wanted. So I think that's all he's concerned about now. So he got him some cookie. So he's good to go.
That's all we have for episode 7. But here's a question. Do you think Sasha should have gone through Nate's apartment like that? Also, what are your thoughts on episode 7? We'd love to hear from you. Put your answers in the comments. Thank you for joining us today. Also, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos.
Later, guys.
Bye.